Eamon. Eamon Brennan is the Chief Executive of the Irish Aviation Authority with responsibility for safety regulation and the provision of air navigation services. An accountant by profession, he has avid interest in aviation, has held a private pilot's license. He was chairman of the Air Navigation Services Board, 2006 to 2007, and is currently a member of the executive board of CANSO. Over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know who that guy is. Okay, first of all, I'd have to have a lot of sympathy for what Dieter said. I mean, I'm on what they call here a traditional sticky wicket. But nevertheless, given the task that's been put before me, I'll have a go at defending cost recovery. But I have a point to everybody here in this room. And first of all, everybody from the United States, you must wonder how come you guys never got in on this act. This is the best show in town. That's the first thing I'll say to you. Not since the wheel has there been a better product since cost recovery, from an ANSP's point of view. So don't everybody sit here in the room and pretend you don't like it. You love it. Now, although that's not the thing to say with Jeff Poole sitting here beside me saying, oh no, tut, we'll have a little bit of customer relations and, you know, consulting our staff and all this kind of old bollocks. No, excuse my language. Because traditional cost recovery, as defined by Eurocontrol, and I'm going to trot you out the good reasons, enhances safety, guarantees economic independence, it gives you independent financing, lowers the risk of insolvency, and provides a stable cash flow. Now, although the FAA never got in on this act, there are people in Europe who used to be in on this act, like NATS, and who crazily got out of it. And the point I want to put to you is this, is that cost recovery is the best deal in town. And why I say that to you is very simple, is that the more you spend, the more you can charge. What other business gives CEOs in this room that freedom? This is like all what we call in Ireland a month of Sundays. The other thing that cost recovery does for you, and it's very important, and we all do it, is what you need is what's known as a thick neck. You know, a thick neck is the ability to withstand criticism, but still do what you want. And the thing is that you present your charges at Eurocontrol to the airlines once a year. You sit there and you take 20 minutes of abuse and a little hut-hutting from Jeff and the likes of him, and we're not going to pay it, right? 15 to 30 minutes of abuse, but here's the key, you still get your dosh. Okay? Now, the other thing about it is that it really is a no-brainer, this cost recovery stuff, because what I'm saying to you is very simple. You are all CEOs here. You love this. Don't be pretending you don't like it. This is the best game in town, I say again. First of all, if the airlines don't play up, you seize their airplanes or they don't fly. It's great stuff. If an airline goes bust, it's no problem. You get the rest of them to pay for it. And in my view, that's a brilliant scheme. Where would you get something as good? Not anywhere would you get something this good. The next point I'd like to make is the one that Knut Skar started on this morning. A bit of a scare. It always works. Now, there's no bunch of guys in town that's easier to scare than airlines. You haul them in and you drop this on them. Delays. Oh, just they hate delays, right? The next thing that they hate is worry aloud about capacity. Ponder, would we have capacity now at 2%? We'll be stuck, you know, knowing that that gives them a little bit of shakes. So in no time at all, they generally buckle with that one. And the big advantage, you can still do what you want. Okay? Now, the other reason is this whole area of lots of understanding, commonly known as customer relations or customer care, because talk is cheap. Now, the key thing here is that, first of all, you need to get them into a room, tell them we're partners. All of us are in this together, okay? And it's all for the good of the system. That's the important. So you've got to involve them, and then you consult them, then you listen to them, and then you still do what you want. So from a point of view of cost recovery, I can't see any problem with this system at all from where I stand. But there are people in this room who pretend they don't like it. And a point I'm putting to everybody here is, are we turkeys voting for Christmas? Is that the stance that we're taking up here? Because let's look at it. We can dish them out any type of service. We can pay more to the staff. You know, they'll complaining about ATCOs, you know, ripping us off. But should we just pass it on to the guys there? Jeff will pay no matter what. That's the most important thing. And this is the big advantage I see to cost recovery. You don't have to have any old system. You can have a gold-plated one. You can have the best experimental system or whatever you like in town. It doesn't just have to work. The big thing is the guys always pay up. It's a fabulous system. And really, my point is, this is the best show in town. You got to stay with it. Now, the other point I want to say to you is that it's a complex system. Complex systems are always good when it comes to dealing with airline. The less the airlines understand how the costs are computed, the better. This whole thing about transparency really isn't the smartest thing in town. Now, if I could show you this one.
I figure 75% to you, Panma, and 25% divided between the 5 of us. Yida, Crowbar, myself, Tom, and the baby. That makes 5% for each one of us.
Billy, you're cheating yourself. If there's 25% divided among the 5 of you, that's 14% apiece.
Oh, no, listen, Pop. I wouldn't cheat you. You know I wouldn't. Now, look here. I'll show you. Let me rub this out here. And now, 25 divided by 5 is 5. You see, 5 won't go into 2, will it? No. But 5 goes into 25 5 times, you see?
No, you're wrong, Billy. Now, I'm a pretty good mathematician. Now, 5 into 25... 5 won't go into 2, will it?
No.
But 5 goes into 5 once. Now, we didn't use the 2 before, so we bring it down here. Now, 5 into 20 goes 4 times. There you are. 5 into 25, 14.
Okay. So, my reason I reject what Dieter says is that everybody in this room knows it simply isn't true. It's not true. It's the right thing to say it. As a good CEO, I've got to be against cost recovery. I've got to be all for performance and that. Privately, I can't believe my luck. I've actually fallen on what's essentially a gravy train. So my final point to you here is that I quote from Zaza Gabor here. She says, "I'm an excellent housekeeper. Every time I get a divorce, I get to keep the house." Ladies and gentlemen, what I put to you is cost recovery is alive and kicking. It is doing well. We're all involved with it up to our necks. And don't you go off here today and debate amongst your groups and come up with all your economic reasons as to why cost recovery is dead, unless you do something about it and change it. So my point to you is that you're in the fishbowl with Gudrun. You're going to stay swimming in the fishbowl. So cost recovery is alive and kicking. Gurmahagat. Thank you.
Well, shall we vote now? Okay, so we have the 2 teams. They'll debate amongst themselves while Torgeir does a quick presentation about his particular situation. And then in 7-10 minutes' time, you'll come back and we'll take it from there. Torgeir.